Greetings, demons, and welcome to Warhammer Weekly, episode 39. So we have an absolute ton of stuff to be going over this week, and no pickups to speak of, so we're going to get straight into those topics right after this intro.
Not the leader of a cult, rabbit with sax.
So, starting off, we finally have an actual product reveal from Weta Workshop. Of course, they are having a collaboration, a team-up, whatever you want to call it, with Games Workshop, and it is for some really high-quality, very expensive statues, and the first of those has actually been revealed, Lieutenant Titus. This, of course, is the main character of the Space Marine games, and oh my, this statue is excellent. It's Lieutenant Titus, it's Titus himself, stomping right into what I want to say is a Tyranid warrior? I may be wrong there. I'm struggling to recognize it completely. I don't know if it just says in the article, but yeah, this thing is absolutely excellent. To my knowledge, it's £1,200, which is a bit expensive to say the least, but it does look excellent. If you're someone who collects this sort of stuff, collects statues, this thing is excellent. If you're a fan of Warhammer, and honestly, if it wasn't for the fact it is that expensive, if this was more in the, lower range, we're talking like £200, I would definitely be thinking about this. I don't think I'd ever really get it, necessarily. Statues just aren't a thing I regularly buy, but, yeah, it's way too expensive for my taste, but, it looks excellent. It's a very, very nice sculpture, and honestly, just having more stuff from Space Marine 2 is always excellent to see. You actually do get helmet options, which is really nice. You actually get the ability to switch between helmetless and helmeted, which is always nice to have options with stuff like that. But, yeah, the first of Weta Workshop's work. I'm looking forward to seeing more of this. Hopefully they do something for, Rogue Trader, which would be really cool. And, yeah, very, very neat, very, very cool. Let's just move on, because that is literally all there is to talk about that. And jumping into the first of the World Championship previews, we have Orruks the Diviner. Of course, one of the two main characters from The Infinite and the Divine. We have a new model for the Diviner himself, and it looks very, very good. I am not in terms of lore-wise, I don't care too much for Orruks. He's not a character I really follow. I haven't actually read The Infinite and Divine, though I have heard it is excellent. So for me, this is purely on aesthetics. This character looks amazing. I'm really, really looking forward to actually seeing this model in person. I have enough friends that, play Necrons as their main army that I'm certain I'll be able to play against this at some point. But yeah, he looks absolutely excellent. I love the design on his back, I guess the cape sort of thing that it is, and just overall, just the fact he's hovering slightly, lifted by his... Is he lifted by his tail? I suppose he is, kind of. Very, very cool effect there. Very nice weaponry. And, of course, this is to coincide with the Codex release, but we also have the reveal of the Crusade Pariah Nexus for the Necrons, which is very, very cool. Obviously, pitting the Necrons versus the Adeptus Mechanicus, which is very, very cool to see. But, yeah, very, very neat, very cool. And another character for the Necrons that we haven't seen in a very long time. So, moving over from the Xenos to the Imperium, we have Asmodai, of course, the very famous Interrogator Chaplain from I'm blanking on the Dark Angels. I don't know why I blanked on those for a second, but yeah, the Dark Angels Interrogator Chaplain himself. And this, once again, very, very nice model. I'm not sold on it as much as I know a few of my friends that play Dark Angels are. Overall, the options look great. You can have hood or no hood. Just overall, the posing's very nice. You've, of course, got the Chaplain wavy stick. What are they called? But you have Crozius. You have the Crozius as well as the sword. The sword is stabbing through a helmet of an Iron Warrior. It does look, or it might be a Fallen. It's hard to say for sure with the design of helmet that they're going for. But yeah, covered in smoke, covered in all sorts of little effects and stuff, and just a very, very nice looking model. The jetpack, the backpack, is very nice with like skulls instead of the general exhaust that we get. Just a very interesting model. And in this article as well, I'm not going to go over in too much detail, but they do actually go over the Codex roadmap. So we actually know that after Admech and Necrons, we have Dark Angels, Orcs, Adeptus Custodes, Tau, and Chaos Space Marines, which great for me, Tau, as well as Orcs actually, but mostly Tau for me. And Chaos Space Marines. Those are just some really good ones for me. But yeah, Tau is great to see coming up next. And then after that, we have Gene Stealers and Adeptus Sororitas, as well as something else. Obviously, for me, Gene Stealer Cults and Tau are the two that I'm wanting the most. They're the only armies that don't have, a current codex that I actually play. So, yeah, very much looking forward to that. But yeah, Asmodai looks excellent. Very, very cool to see another Dark Angels character. And, yeah, moving on to more from Dark Angels, we have the return of the Deathwing Knights, and these things are excellent. Of course, Terminator plate, very, very classic style Terminators as well. And, yeah, it's just the new proportions, the new version of Dark Angels Deathwing Knights, and they all look excellent. They've got swords, they've got shields, just very, very nice. I do like that their helmets are a little bit more similar to Grey Knights than the previous version, I do believe. But yeah, definitely some excellent models here for sure. I love the little cloaks on them. Just generally, the new Terminators are great. And this is just like turning up to 11, essentially. It's not something that I'm overly interested in. I'm not a Dark Angels player. And at the end of the day, as much as my Death Watch is supposed to be an amalgamation of everything, I try and avoid, with Terminators at least, having it be too chapter specific. It's just one of the things that I like them to be a bit more normal, a little bit more generic in a way. But yeah, these do look absolutely excellent. I do look forward to seeing them once again in person at some point. There's a lot of different options for hoods and helmets and helmetless options and stuff, as well as, of course, you get your little Watcher in the Dark as an extra, which is really nice to see. But yeah, just some very, very good models, and I may bite the bullet eventually, but for right now, I'm still waiting on Grey Knights getting a refresh. This is a good start in the right direction, but yeah, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, new Deathwing Knights, very, very cool. And yeah, moving on. And going over into Kill Team real quick, we have a brand new Kill Team itself for the game. It is actually part of a bundle, we just only know this side of it, and it is the Night Lords, I guess Legionaries, but it's the new Night Lords models, and they look absolutely excellent. So, in general, Night Lords are one of those factions that I've never been too interested in. I understand their lore is supposedly very, very fun. I understand they are also, like, the definitive, like, worst faction, as in, like, they are the most evil faction, like, in the entire universe, which is kind of funny in the world of 40k. But, yeah, these new models look excellent. A lot of flesh capes, a lot of, like, various sharp, pointy instruments, a lot of wings. Just some very, very nice aesthetics going on here. And, yeah, in general, I'm probably going to pick these up just to kind of, I don't know if, like, kitbash is the right word, but, like, just utilize some of the parts and obviously utilize some of the rules for my my Black Legion, or I don't know why I run them as, really. My plan is still to paint them up as Thousand Sons, but, like, they're not going to be Thousand Sons. They're going to be played as Black Legion most likely, or maybe Alpha Legion. But yeah, these are excellent. The Lightning Claws, or whatever the Night Lord equivalent is, are very, very cool. Just some very nice aesthetics going on. I love the guy holding the, like, half a servitor. The chainsword that's like a rib cage is so cool as well. Just a lot on offer here. And yeah, in general, for Night Lords fans, I'm sure this is huge news. I'm sure people are very, very excited for these. But yeah, that's it for the Kill Team stuff. And moving over to the world of Necromunda, we have a brand new ATV model. And honestly, it looks pretty good. It is called the Taurus, and it's new Enforcer vehicle. And yeah, in general, I think this looks way better than the Space Marine ATV. This is apparently something in lore-wise that is used by the Adeptus Militarum, and honestly, depending on the scale of the drivers, you could probably make this into a Space Marine ATV, which does look considerably better than the actual Space Marine ATV, in my opinion. But yeah, it just in general looks like a very, very nice vehicle, basically, for your Necromunda. I was gonna say gang, but I guess enforcers, so your police. But yeah, very, very cool. It seems to have Volkite or chain gun, which is very, very good. Just overall, just some very, very fun vehicles. And yeah, in general, not too many options other than the weapons, but still very, very nice. I'm hoping there's a full helmet option for both of the drivers, both the gunner and the actual driver himself. But if not, you can always kit bash it a little bit, swap them out. I'm sure there's plenty of spare pieces for the enforcers. But yeah, very, very cool new model, and not much else to say about it. So flying back all the way to the Horus Heresy, we have what I'm hoping is the final Legion Imperialis, because, newsflash, Legion Imperialis is out now. It's out now. It's available. It's on pre-order right now as of recording. But yeah, Legion Imperialis is actually on sale now. I haven't been able to actually have a look because the website has been so busy over the last the last day, that I have not been able to get on, because every time I go on, it's saying I have multiple hours of wait time in the queue, and I just don't care enough. A lot of the time it's because I'm looking on my phone rather than looking on the website, looking on my computer. But yeah, in any case, we have what I'm hoping is the final Heresy Thursday that's going to be about Legion Imperialis, and this time it is the Dracosan Transport, which I'm probably pronouncing wrong, but I don't really care. It's I was going to say Astrometarum. It's the Solar Auxilia, I think, vehicle, tank thing, transport, and it looks fine. It's nothing too interesting to me. It's another tank, basically, in my opinion. Has a little gun emplacement, has a massive cannon, and apparently has space to actually hold a bunch of troops, which is very nice to hear. But yeah, in general, nothing too special there. And we do actually have something way more interesting from non-Epic. So let's just jump straight into that part of Heresy. With the Mark 6 Assault Marines, which, honestly, I'm a huge fan of jetpacks. I'm a Raven Guard player at heart, even though I do play Death Watch. And yeah, I love my jetpacks, and these are no exception. Very, very nice. Mark 6, arguably one of my favourites, and seeing those as Assault Marines is just excellent. I love the simplicity of the armour, the, just kind of flatness of it all is actually quite nice to me. And these jump packs are very interesting. I don't know what the design philosophy around these is, because they are very different to the other ones. I don't know if that's just due to it being Mark 6, or if that's some other reason that I'm just not getting, but yeah, these all look excellent. Obviously beakies, which I love to see, and yeah, you even got some power claws. It's weird to me, I understand that they typically show Imperial Fist or Sons of Horus, but it's really weird to me that they didn't show any of these as, Raven Guard. Their beaky helmets, their fast attack, why aren't they showing them as Raven Guard? It's weird to me. But yeah, you also get the Riot Shield weapon option, I guess, instead of a pistol. And yeah, just overall, just some very, very good models that if I ever get into Horus Heresy properly, non-epic anyway, because I'm going to get into Legion of Imperialis regardless, but if I ever actually get into full-scale Horus Heresy, this is definitely something I'll be picking up. I might actually end up picking some of these up as just assault intercessors, because I do quite like the aesthetic of these, and it varies it up. I like to have a variety in terms of my units, because Death Watch, obviously. So yeah, maybe throwing a few of these in with the shields and stuff would be very, very cool. But yeah, very, very nice to see Mark 6 get more love, and just in general, just seeing more actual units, more infantry from Horus Heresy. Always good to see. But yeah, moving on. And traveling back to the Age of Sigmar, we have a lot of stuff for the I forget what they're called. The blood stealer, the drain drinker, the undead people, the flesh eater courts, is that what they're called? But we have the Honourable Grand Justice Goremain, and this is very much just an undead zombie, Grand Justice. He's the judge, and yeah, this guy's very interesting. He has a wig made out of guts. He has a hammer made out of skulls. He has parchment covered in blood. Just a lot of fun little aesthetic features. Death Eater Courts. Is that even right? I don't even know. They're not a faction that I care too much for. I have a few of their models because a lot of them are like this. Very, very cool. But yeah, it's not a faction I'm overly interested in. And this guy looks pretty good. I'd hate to be painting the actual book. Obviously they've done it as like vague scribbles with just a load of blood on it, but you'd have to do some amount of detail on it, and I just wouldn't enjoy it personally. But still, very, very nice model. Very cool how they've done the wig with the guts, and in general, just a very nice little character for your Flesh Eater Courts, which is always good to see. Speaking of which, we also have another character for the Flesh Eater Courts, that being Ushoran, who is essentially the king of the Flesh Eater Court, so, it is his court, and this guy is a behemoth and a half. He's absolutely massive, very hunchback, very, very just imposing, it's got to be said. Almost looks like a dinosaur or like a dragon or something, ignoring the face, obviously. But, yeah, he is absolutely covered in pelts and skulls and heads and all kinds of other stuff. The plinth that he's on is absolutely excellent. Just some broken down steps with some destroyed building on it and stuff like that. He has a little goblet on his side. His little staff has a massive skull in it, like a vampire skull by the looks of it as well. And just in general, just the level of detail to this model, excellent, absolutely excellent. I would hate to be painting all those extra faces that are just covering him over, but a very nice model overall. I love the skull crown, I guess, that's coming out of the horn crown even, that's coming out of his head. Just in general, just a very, very aesthetically pleasing model for the Flesh Eater Course, as I say. So, very, very nice. And, a king is nothing without his court. So, we, of course, also got the chivalrous army of Ushoran, and this is a lot of new Flesh Eater Court models. Starting off with the Crypt Guard. Now, these are some, pretty basic units. They look pretty cool, very zombie-ish. A lot of, really, bad quality weapons and stuff like that. I do quite like them all, especially the drummer boy is very, very cool. The guy holding a hand as well, also very cool. But, just some very basic little troops for Flesh Eaters, and, in general, just some very nice models. We also have the Morbeg Knights, which are Bat Riders, which look pretty cool, it must be said. I love the variety in the shields that they're carrying. In general, these are a lot less interesting to me, but the overall variety is very nice. The fact they are riding on the bats is very cool. The one with the horn is very interesting to me, but, just 3 different units. I like the main one, having the shield that's all fleshy and stuff is very neat, but not really too much to go over in terms of those. The flesh banner and stuff is very cool, but there's just not really too much to it. We also have the Vargulf Courtiers, which are more vampires, or more, I guess, like bat creatures. It's hard to... I never know what to call any of the things in Flesh Eater Courts, but more like bat creatures, which are very, very cool. The Aberrant Cardinal, which is yet another religious looking figure, looks very, very neat. I like his little staff being covered in what looks like a heart and a million different bones. Once again, like a vampire skull and stuff. Just a very interesting model. Nothing, I think, too impressive, but still very nice. The Royal Decapitator, which is, I guess, the Executioner equivalent. Very, very nice, large rusted axe. Very cool. Some severed heads on the base, just stuff like that. The option for the hood is very nice. Really gives that Executioner vibe. Just in general, a very, very nice model. And that all leads into the fact that we are getting the Flesh Eater Courts army set, which includes everything that I've just gone over. Including, I think there's 1 or 2 extra models. I'm trying to make out everything in the actual picture, but in any case, a Flesh Eater Courts army set, very cool to see. with all the new models, or at least the majority of the new models. And yeah, I won't be picking up personally. As I say, I'm not the biggest fan of Flesh Eater Courts, but these are some excellent models, and I'm sure people can be very, very happy with, well, the army set as a whole, but I was going to say the army in general. And yeah, just in general, just some very, very fun things for Flesh Eater Courts. But yeah, moving on from that. And over into Underworlds for more Death Gorge action, we have a new Orruk, I guess, team. I don't know what they're really called in Underworlds. As much as I like playing Underworlds, I just don't know what they're called. But Orruks Stab Lads. These are some excellent orc models. Dagok himself is kind of comically posed, I think. He's very much that disappointed, like, parent sort of look, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, his other guys are very cool. They're pretty standard-looking Orruks, in all fairness. A lot of knives, a lot of shields. One of them's got a massive horn that kind of looks like a cannon, which is kind of interesting. You got your maces and stuff like that. Just, some generic Orruk stuff, which I have no issue with. I quite like my Orruks. And in general, very nice models overall. I do like the guy with the horn. The one with the horn is very, very cool. But, yeah, overall, just some, more Orruks to add to the collection. I'm, of course, an Orruks player, so this is something that we'll be picking up regardless. And, yeah, the fact it's for Underworlds, even better, because I do quite enjoy Underworlds. But moving on from there, it would not be a proper preview without a little look at the old world. And this time around, we have a brand new plastic kit, Awaken an Ancient Terror from Beneath the Sands. And this is the Bone Dragon, which is really cool, the Necrolith Bone Dragon to be specific. And this thing is excellent. Basically, it's just a giant skeleton dragon being ridden by someone that kind of looks like a pharaoh. It's a very interesting model, to say the least. I very much like everything about this. It's not a model that I'm overly interested in getting myself, but the fact that this is a brand new plastic kit and just looks this good, it makes me hopeful for how good the rest of Old World is going to be. Old World as is already a very retro but nice looking, collection of models. But, just the more they show the new ones, the more I'm like, no, this is just excellent. This is just all great. And, there's a lot of options by the looks of it on what you can actually build. Everything as, like, the chariot or throne area is very customizable by the looks of it. And, even looks like there might be a little bit of posability in terms of how the dragon is set up. I can't say that for sure because they don't really show it too well, but there's a few... No, I don't know. It looks like there's some slight deviation with how you can pose the actual skeleton itself, but I may be wrong there. That's something that we'll have to find out when the model releases. But very, very cool to see another dragon, and a skeleton dragon at that, which is very, very cool to see. Interesting, obviously because it's a skeleton, doesn't have proper wings, does have the bones for the wings, but not the actual fleshy part, so that's kind of interesting. But very neat model for Old World, and that brings us to our final topic, which, of course, is the Rumour Engine for the 14th of November, 2023, and it appears to be some sort of grenade cache, I assume. I think there's actually Necromunda, personally. The hand doesn't really look like anything in particular to me. The actual weapon or, supply cache or grenade container, whatever it is, doesn't really stand out as anything in particular. The hand having little marks on it tells me it isn't Space Marines at the very least, and I'd assume it's not Imperium in general. So I'd assume maybe a gang from Necromunda, maybe something for one of the other offshoot games. May even be something brand new for Kill Team potentially, but I'm not too sure. I'm very confident this is going to be 40k. I don't think there's much doubt in that. It might be 30k at a push, but realistically, this is going to be something for 40k, which is perfectly cool, but there's not much really to say about it because I can't properly identify what this is. It might be something familiar to some of you. It almost looks like a pack of mines, potentially, but in any case, something interesting, something to look forward to, and that is really all I can say about it. So, in any case, that's going to be it for this video. So, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to like it, subscribe if you're new, and turn on the bell so you never miss upload. Otherwise, comment below any thoughts, feelings on anything we've gone over today. And, specifically, I want to just talk about, what do you think of the new Night Lords? That's something that I'm very much interested in, because I'm not the biggest fan of Night Lords in general. I like them aesthetically to some extent. I want to hear what people that actually care about that faction think of it. As I say, I'm probably going to pick up some just as, a bit of variety within my Chaos Space Marine, but, let me know what you think. So, yeah, that's your little task for today, and otherwise it's going to be it for me. So, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!
Look at the screen, you'll be fine. Culture's a disease, but worlds divine. I just wanna take